Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the 713 Houston Sports. It's Mr. 713, and we're going to discuss this crazy loss that has me feeling some type of way. This is probably one of the most painful games I've watched in a very long time. We're going to discuss it next. Let's cue the intro. Man, this game hurt me the most. And a lot of people are saying, well, the 24 point, comeback by the Chiefs should hurt you more. That was probably the worst game. No, I think it's this one. And let's just start off by saying Deshaun Watson is the MVP. Even if he doesn't win it in my book, in my book, he's the MVP of the league because the man has overcame so much. The man has done things that no other QB in the NFL could do. You overcome a COVID season with brand new weapons, with an incompetent head coach, a new offensive coordinator, brand new weapons, and yet you're playing like an absolute baller. You are doing things that people have never heard of. You are creating your own stats. Deshaun Watson is. And to watch him lose this game, to watch him lose and be on the sideline and was crying, and that right there, he won over the city of Houston. That right there, because what that showed me there is he doesn't care about the money, he doesn't care about the fame, he cares about winning. And when you see him right there, towel over his head, wiping his eyes, he's crying. He gave it his all. I want you guys to really understand that he is throwing to wide receivers who last year in the playoff game were nowhere to be seen. No DeAndre, no Fuller, no Cobb, and now you have Cooks, Kiki, and Hansen. Different wide receiving core. And he left it all out there. Deshaun Watson really showed me there that he wants to win. And now in day and age, it's hard to find something like that. It's hard to find a player who wants to win. Because now we see players who just care about getting that big bag. And yes, Watson did get his bag, but he's progressed so far this season and so much that you just can't help but root for the guy. And in the game, what he was able to do with no wide receivers, the offense looked absolutely fantastic for the first half of the game. The running game was suspect. Of course, it wasn't there. The offensive line was suspect as well. But Deshaun Watson was moving the chains. My whole issue is the reason why we lost this game isn't because of Nick Martin. Well, I mean, he had a huge part in the loss of the game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not about to just sit here and say the one reason why we lost was because of Nick Martin. The main reason why we lost is because in the second half, the Houston Texans offense did not adjust, and the defense for the Colts did. If you notice in the first half, they were letting Deshaun Watson throw. They were giving him time. They weren't really going after him. And they saw that what he was able to do with Kiki and Hansen and Cooks. Then in the second half, they made a judgment that they were going to put all types of pressure on Watson, and we absolutely saw that. Right? We didn't lose this game because of Nick Martin. We lost this game because his offense failed to adjust in the second half. And, I do believe that if we do score, we do win the game because in the second half, our defense was absolutely shutting them out. J.J. Watt, once again, is showing that he is still elite and showing that whoever he gets traded to, they're going to have to give up something big for him. Jacob Martin had a sack. Charles Omenihu is looking really good. You can't really put all the blame on Phillip Gaines and Vernon Hargreaves. They're backup corners. But if you're asking me who lost this game, it was the offense. And that's just facts. You go from putting up 24 points in the first half, or I believe 21 or 20. I'm sorry, I apologize, and damn near nothing in the second. But that's not the story of this game. The story is Deshaun Watson. I think another reason why he was crying is because think about the legacy. Think about the way his persona grows if he wins this game. You have no Fuller. You're throwing to people who, you're throwing to wide receivers who haven't had a meaningful snap in over 3 years like Chad Hansen has. You're throwing to Kiki Kuti, who was in Bill O'Brien's doghouse for almost 2 years. And now you saw what he could do. Now you saw what that Deshaun Watson don't need a damn good wide receiver. He is gonna make it happen. This was a game that people were gonna look at Deshaun Watson and say, damn, that's an MVP. Why aren't they talking about him being an MVP? But because of this loss, because his offense failed to adjust in the second half, and really because Nick Martin really screwed up. And the whole drive he was snapping very low, and it finally caught up to him. He deserves a bunch of the blame. A huge chunk of the blame he deserves. But you cannot come out this loss and think there's no future for the Houston Texans. The future is Deshaun Watson. And believe it or not, the Houston Texans will win a Super Bowl with Deshaun Watson. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's not going to happen this season, though, because now the season's over. Now the question is do you rest Watson? Do you rest Brandon Cooks, who went back there for a concussion? They had to do the protocol on him, or do you let Deshaun Watson ride it out? You let the dogs play, the rookies, the Hansons, the Kikis, the Blacklogs, the John Reeds. Let the rookies play because you got nothing left to play for. That's another video for another day. But the story is not that the Houston Texans lost. It's that Deshaun Watson did everything he could to put the Texans in a position to win the game, and something out of his control lost it. That being Nick Martin, that being the coach's inability to adjust the game plan. But as we all know, it's any given Sunday. This is a tough one. To me, this is a very hard loss, watching Deshaun Watson on the bench like that. This is a tough video to talk about because that's my QB. How can you not say he's the MVP? How can you still not be mad at Bill O'Brien for messing this whole thing up? But once again, we're going to be back next week against the Bears. We're going to discuss that game in a couple days. As always, you guys have a blessed rest of your Sunday. This was Ruben.